Welcome to Everyday Bytes.
All right, let's jump right into this explainer and see exactly how Claude steps up as your security-minded pair programmer to lock down your codebase. If you've been tracking the breakneck speed of developer tools lately, you already know agentic AI is totally changing the game for how we write, debug, and ship software. But, as we hand over the keys and give these tools more autonomy, the conversation naturally shifts. It's not just about speed anymore, it's about something way more important: safety. I mean, nobody wants to be the developer who shifts a massive vulnerability to production on a Friday afternoon, right? So today, we're going to unpack how Claude Code was deliberately engineered from the ground up to protect your work at every single stage of the dev lifecycle. Can agentic AI actually write secure code? Honestly, it's the very first question every developer asks before letting an AI anywhere near their repos, especially when you're trying to move fast. And it's a completely valid concern. We all want that insane velocity that AI brings to the table, but we literally cannot afford to introduce vulnerabilities into production. Security just isn't one of those features you can bolt on at the end of a sprint. It absolutely has to be woven into the very fabric of how you write your code.
So to figure out how Claude handles this, we're going to look at 4 key layers of security. Number 1, safety by default. 2, terminal security reviews. 3, automating with GitHub Actions. And finally, number 4, multi-agent code audits. Starting off with layer 1, safety by default, the inner layer. This is the absolute foundation, setting the boundaries for what Claude is actually permitted to do on your local machine. Claude operates with a really strict safety by default philosophy. What that means is it will never, and I mean never, make system-altering changes without your express consent. When you first spin it up, Claude Code actively pauses to request your permission for anything that might modify your environment, whether it's writing a file, firing off a complex bash command, or triggering an external tool. The whole framework takes this deliberately conservative approach. It basically prioritizes your system's integrity above everything else. You get this incredibly clear permission rules interface right in your terminal, which guarantees you are always in complete control. If you add, say, a command like npm run test or a specific linter to your allowed tools list, you're essentially telling Claude, hey, you don't need to bug me for permission to run these safe tasks anymore. But for anything outside that specific list, it hits a hard stop until you explicitly say yes. It's a security model tailored perfectly to your own personal comfort level. Okay, moving to layer 2. Terminal security reviews, your local check. Having a secure environment is step 1, but writing secure code is step 2. This is where Claude transforms from just a coding assistant into a proactive security auditor. This is where the powerful /security review command comes in. It actively hunts down critical vulnerabilities before you even think about staging a commit. A standard code review might just look for basic logic bugs or syntax errors, but this is a dedicated, vulnerability-focused sweep. It meticulously scans your recent changes for serious risks. We're talking SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, insecure data handling, and even known vulnerabilities hiding in your dependencies. The really crucial takeaway here is just how frictionless this local workflow is. You run the scan, analyze the issues, and apply the fixes without ever breaking your flow. You just type the command, and Claude doesn't just flag the problems, it breaks down the why with detailed explanations. And since it's an agentic tool, you don't have to manually rewrite the code yourself. You can literally just ask Claude to implement its recommended fixes right then and there. It totally flips the script, turning security from a frustrating blocker into a really seamless part of your dev loop. Let's look at layer 3, automating with GitHub Actions. We're talking team-wide nets here. Because let's face it, no matter how careful we are locally, teams need a persistent safety net during the CI/CD process. Think about the contrast here. Your local terminal command is amazing for iterating quickly on the fly, but the automated GitHub action, that acts as a relentless, repository-wide safety net across all your pull requests. It basically guarantees that not a single piece of code sneaks into the main branch without a rigorous security review. It's the perfect complement to the manual checks you're doing locally. The GitHub action works tirelessly in the background. As soon as someone opens a PR, Claude springs into action to review the code. What's really cool is the customization. You can tweak the filtering rules to match the specific quirks of your codebase, which is a lifesaver because it means your team isn't getting spammed with false positives. And when it does spot a real vulnerability, it posts a clear, actionable recommended fix as an inline comment, exactly where the issue lives. Finally, we reach layer 4, multi-agent code audits. This is deep logic tracing. This outermost layer is where we really unleash the big guns, specialized agents working in parallel.
Using the task tool, you can actually orchestrate a whole team of specialized sub-agents. Look at this example. You can write a script to launch 5 parallel investigation agents all at the exact same time to hunt down complex architectural flaws, like race conditions in your auth state. Instead of relying on a single AI context window, you're dispatching a coordinated squad. One agent checks error logs, another traces middleware, another monitors timeouts. It's wild. It drastically accelerates debugging for those really deep, tricky problems. And by separating duties among these sub-agents, Claude ensures the reviewing agent isn't just blindly nodding along with the writing agent. This results in a highly objective audit. Actually, Anthropic's own engineers use this exact pattern, and it makes total sense. They'll have one Claude write the tests and a completely separate instance with its own distinct scratchpad write the code. Because if a single AI writes and reviews its own work, it can totally suffer from confirmation bias, just like a human. Separating them creates this robust, adversarial review process that catches incredibly subtle logic flaws. So, with all these layers actively protecting your workflow, we've seen how Claude scales up. It goes from strict local permissions to quick terminal commands to automated pull request checks, all the way to these brilliant multi-agent audits. The tools to secure your codebase are literally right at your fingertips. The only question left is, how quickly are you going to turn security from a dreaded afterthought into an effortless automated habit? Thanks for diving into this explainer with me today. Now go build something amazing and keep it secure.
Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Don't miss the next Bites.